Hello, everyone, and welcome to Module 2. I'm Dr. Zeynep Atag, and today I'm going to talk to you about the most common and one of the most effective conflict resolution tools at your availability. You don't need to talk to mediators, arbitrators, or sue people. But first, when you have a conflict, what we do, we negotiate. Today, we're going to talk about what's negotiation, what is effective preparation for negotiation, uh, and what is value in negotiation. I will talk to you about some very critical concepts that everybody needs to know, particularly BATNA, reservation point, and what are your sources of power. Negotiation is the most common and highly effective conflict resolution methodology in and outside of the organizations. You can use this in any area of your life. And this is a decision-making process where two sides or more sides sometimes in the conflict come to the table and discuss the negotiation issues, the clauses that are involved, and allocate some resources. These resources can be anything that the different parties are interested in. And sometimes students don't realize how much they negotiate. Rest assured, you negotiate every single day, multiple times, and maybe you're not even aware of it. You negotiate with your family members, who's going to do the dishes, where are we going for a vacation, or let's have another child. Or most importantly, in the organizations, you negotiate a lot. You negotiate with your boss, your supervisors, your subordinates, sometimes with investors, people who are gonna, invest in your company, or your customers, your vendors, independent contractors. You negotiate with them to persuade them to do things for you, given the available budget and time, etc. Negotiation skills are core conflict management skills, and these skills are important in your managerial success, leadership success, and overall in your career success. However, many people cannot negotiate well, but we will change this in these few weeks. First of all, I want you to think about what's value in conflict. Value can be whatever you find useful or important or desirable. It can sometimes take economic outcomes, dollar utility of something, a particular timeline of something, when it's gonna finish, how many deliveries we're gonna agree on, etc. And sometimes it is more so like a social capital. It may be love, happiness, respect, or acknowledgement of somebody's work, that you may need all these things. So anything that you want and you're not getting, or anything that you want and somebody is not giving to you, may create a conflict. You will remember from the first module, and you may want to get a share of it in a particular meeting. Now, good preparation is incredibly important in effective conflict resolution. There is a lot of research from over the last few decades now that most of your effectiveness in getting the resources that you want, it may be the salary, it may be the compensation of benefits, package items, it may be acknowledgement, respect, whatever it is that you're trying to get your hands on. Most of your effectiveness in securing them actually lies in your preparation that you do before you even get into the meeting. So 70% of your effectiveness will be driven by your effective planning, research, preparation for this meeting. What are you going to say? What are my alternatives? What is research about market data? What are average figures? How am I going to explain it to the other party? Just a systematic approach to preparation will help you big time. Then 20% of your effectiveness will come from the amount of information exchange, the information that you are providing, and the information that the other party is providing. Exchanging that information is very helpful in terms of identifying what are your priorities, what are my priorities, is there any room for both of us to give each other the number one important thing for us so that we can have a win-win deal. That kind of information exchange will be very important. We'll talk more about it in module 4. Now, 10% of your effectiveness will come from hardcore bargaining skills, such as just trying to convince the other party, persuading, making argument after argument why you should get a higher salary or why the other party is coming across as disrespectful to you, and in what way do you expect them to be. That hardcore argumentativeness is only the 10% of your success. So what do we learn out of this? Before we get into a meeting with someone to talk about our conflicts or whatever resources we're negotiating about, we will learn as much as we can to use to our benefit in the meeting. We will have precedents, standards, reports, any evidence, supportive facts at our fingertips so that we can use that as leverage in our meeting. This will also prevent them from surprising you with important pieces of information that you did not know, which may be to their benefit and to your detriment, so that you won't be surprised when they share these type of arguments or facts with you, because you will already know and have a prepared response to that. Now, let's start with a sample conflict resolution context. I will try to explain how to prepare for a negotiation and some critical concepts using this particular example. So nothing is abstract or vague, but everything, I want it to be very concrete, driven in the example. Imagine that you have worked for a small business as an independent contractor for the last 9 months. They like you and they appreciate your work results, and they made you a full-time work offer. You're very excited about this offer because you really like the company and its people. You believe you will do great in the offered position. However, you cannot accept in all good conscience some of the clauses in the offer. So you have serious, misgivings about some of the items. You decide to meet and discuss the situation with the company owner, who is your contact information. Now, preparation is done using a particular template. Now, this template, which actually is here, hidden in the picture, a negotiation planning document, is also available on Canvas under Module 2. It says conflict resolution / negotiation planning template. Now, this is based on research and literature and scholarly work and field data coming from real-life organizations and negotiators. How do we systematically and effectively prepare before we get into a meeting to discuss issues with people? Preparation has 3 sections to it. One is your self-assessment. Under self-assessment, you list the negotiation issues. You think about what's my BOTNA reservation point or target, and what are my sources of power. And then the second section is the assessment of the other party. You're listing the very same concepts for the other party, and then you assess the situation. So basically, this planning document on Canvas will have, and I'll show you some screenshots from it, will have 3 parts: your assessment, other party's assessment, and the situation assessment. Let's dive in it. You see that the top of the negotiation planning document asks you, what are the issues in this negotiation? Rank order them based on their value to you. Now, negotiation issues are not problems. Issue, sometimes we use synonymously to a problem. In negotiation or conflict context, an issue is a clause. That's something that can be negotiable with the other party. It wants you, basically, the form wants you to list as many negotiable issues or clauses as possible. What are the things that you want to talk about in this particular meeting? Then it asks for your BOTNA, reservation point, your target, and what are your sources of power. Now, the second part It basically says what issues are important to your opponent. So again, this is about the other parties' analysis, your ranking. What do you think are the important issues or clauses they would like to talk about in this meeting? What are their BOTNA, their reservation point, their target, and what are their sources of power? Why do I want to know their sources of power? So that I can actually prepare responses and tactics to neutralize them. And third is assessing the situation. We will go over these questions. Is this a one-shot negotiation? Is this a long-term relationship? Is this an opportunity or a necessity? Why am I analyzing the situation? Because things about the situation, characteristics of the conflict situation itself will also determine what's the best way of going around, what kind of a strategy, what kind of a tactic should I use in this meeting. Okay. Now, let's get into self-assessment, the negotiation issues. I started talking about these are basically all the clauses that can be discussed. What we want you to do is to identify multiple issues. Many times, one common mistake that we do is that we choose either it's the salary or the price or something to do with some dollar amount. We have that in mind. That's the most important thing to negotiate. And we get into the meeting and just talk about that nonstop. And then we get into this contentious head-on argument because we want something and the other party doesn't want to give it. And we keep talking about the same issue over and over again. It's like Democrats and Republicans debating. Nobody's convincing each other. So basically, you are losing. So what you need to do instead, before you get into any conflict resolution meeting, you need to think thoroughly about what kind of different issues and topics or clauses can we discuss. Even if they're not too important to you, if there's anything you would like to talk about, if there are other things that possibly can be added, please do add in. You will see that this will be the key to give and take, to log rolling, collaborative win-win deals. We will talk more about it in module number 4. Now, let's go back to the example we have at hand. In this particular conflict example I shared with you, you can either go in just thinking about, okay, this is the annual salary I want. This is really important. I want to get this. But I suggest add other alternatives, add performance bonus. Hey, do you have health insurance, dental vision? You never mentioned retirement plan. Do you have anything? Or what's the vacation time? What training opportunities and coverage in terms of reimbursement do you provide? What's the promotion timeline? Do you provide tuition coverage for graduate education or books, etc.? Are there company employee discounts? I mean, I'm trying to brainstorm and bring a lot of things to the table, because if they cannot give you certain things, maybe they can actually compensate you or reimburse you on different areas that may be sort of important to you. Right? So you are bringing to the table as many issues as possible. Now, going back, what did I do in my planning document? I wrote down, okay, these are the important things, top important things that I would like to talk about. Number 1 is my annual salary. What they offered me is a little less than what I want. 2, training opportunities and coverage, more important than retirement or vacation for me. 3, graduate education, tuition coverage. Please observe that this person, more than like getting promoted or securing a good retirement, etc., they're very interested in training, developmental, and growth opportunities. You literally see training, graduate education, promotion sort of like coming back to back. Even the way you discuss these in the meeting will give the information to the other party that you're very growth and developmentally oriented an individual. All right, so I listed based on the importance to me in my planning document. Now, second thing the planning document was asking me is my BOTNA. What is BOTNA? BOTNA is the best alternative to a negotiated agreement. And you have to learn this by heart. Anybody who knows about conflict management and negotiation knows BOTNA. BOTNA is If you do not come to an agreement, if you can't resolve the issue at all and you shake no hands and you say goodbye, thanks but no thanks, what will happen to you? What alternative do you have? For instance, if you cannot shake hands and start working for this company, what is your alternative to a negotiated agreement here? What is your best alternative outside of this negotiated agreement? If I'm selling something and if I fail to sell it to you, what is my best alternative? What am I going to do? That's BATNA. Why do I make such a big deal of BATNA? Because BATNA is your biggest source of power at the negotiation table. The research is very clear. Whoever has the better BATNA does better in a negotiation. A good alternative makes you powerful. Negotiating makes you confident. It shows that you're not desperate. You're not vulnerable to their exploitation. You already have a good alternative. Somebody who doesn't have a good BATNA, who doesn't have any other offers, any other alternatives, are sort of desperate to come to a deal with you. And everybody knows if you're desperate to sell something, if you're desperate to come to a decision right now, you will make concessions and you won't do as well in the negotiation. Your opponent's perception of your BATNA is critical. Do not ever tell your specific BATNA to them. You can say, I have a different work offer, job offer. You can say, I have different buyer candidates. You can say, I have different options, projects that I can work with instead of working with you. But don't reveal the exact specifics of your BATNA, because the moment you share your BATNA, they're gonna come and match your BATNA. You're not going to get anything in this negotiation that's better than your alternative. And your goal should be, if I have a work offer for a particular amount, or if I have a project offer and they're offering me flexible time, they're offering me lots of respect, hey, do your thing, we're not going to bug you. In coming into this negotiation, I want to secure something much better than my alternative. So I don't want to give exact details of the BATNA because I want to secure better things in this negotiation. Don't lie if you don't have a good BATNA, or if you don't have an offer, if you don't, just don't lie. There are many reasons why we shouldn't lie about our BATNA, but manipulate, if you will, the perception of your BATNA. You can say, I have a good work offer, job offer. And if they ask you specifics, just prepare some prior blurb about, I don't want to get into the details about, some of the offer elements, and, it's a very detailed, compensation and benefits package. However, so that's some sort of a blurb, or prepare something along these lines, not to give the specifics of your alternative, but make sure you clarify that you have another offer, you have multiple offers, etc., that you are talking to other people. There are other projects that you could work with. There are other clubs that you could be a member of, in the tactful and nice way. In the form, I wrote, okay, I have another offer from X Design. I'm not sharing these details with the company that I'm talking to, but I know that, I already have an offer, $78,000. They're paying $2,000 for training and equipment per year. After 3 years, they will pay $15,000 a year for graduate education. There's a promotion opportunity within 1.5 years. They don't have a retirement plan, and they have 2 weeks time off per year. So whatever they're offering me as my alternative, I'm listing here. That just keeps me grounded. Okay, what is my comparison point to what I'm trying to get in this negotiation? It's very important for you to identify a serious target before you get into a negotiation. Your target has to be ambitious, high, motivating. This is not the lowest price you can get. If they give me something higher than this, I'll say yes. That's not your target. Target is, what is a motivating, really nice result that you would like to get? What would make you super happy leaving this negotiation environment? It is very important to be really ambitious. We can do research, we can justify our target to make it look like it is justified based on facts. Like, I'm not just shooting for the moon, but there are reasons why this is a fair and reasonable request. We will do that, but it needs to be ambitious and motivating because it will impact your first offer, and you will open up with a first ambitious offer. You will also first offers significantly impact the final deal that's signed. So if you do your research, if you're prepared, we want you to make the first offer and just pull the other party to to somewhere around your target. Just put it in their brains, even if they don't want to give you that and they think it's overly ambitious. At least they heard your high ambitious first offer. That will impact the final deal and you'll do better in this negotiation. Now, in the target section of my planning document, I said, okay, I want $82,000. I want $2,000 training equipment coverage. And because I love this organization so much, I can have less of a graduate education coverage, maybe 10,000. Even I can do 5,000. But if they give me 82,000 and training and equipment coverage, I can save money, etc. So this is my most important elements of my target in this negotiation. What is a reservation point? Now, reservation point is your bottom line. What is the worst offer that you would say yes to in this negotiation? This is not outside of the negotiation. If I can't make an agreement, what will be my alternative? Remember, those alternatives are your partners, okay? Your best alternative is your partner. But in this particular negotiation, the worst deal you would say yes to, you can take that deal, is your reservation point. This is the worst deal, not your target, not the best deal. This is the worst deal you would say yes to. Just to work for this organization, what would be the minimal, offer that they can provide to me that I would say, okay, I'll work for you. Anything worse than the reservation price, you prefer no agreement to that. Also, remember never to reveal your reservation point to the other party, because if you say this is the lowest, unless, the worst that I can do is this. Like, basically, you're revealing your partner. Worst that I can do is like $70,000. Basically, you're revealing your partner to reservation point to them. Do not reveal your reservation point. Again, they will match it. They will give you the worst possible, offer, and you will have to say yes because you already said you would take it. But you don't want to reveal your reservation point, but you want to keep it in your mind and never, ever agree to anything worse than your reservation point. What's my reservation point? In this particular example, I wrote in my planning document, I wouldn't work for anything less than $79,000 here, because then if it's worse than 79,000, and I wouldn't get anything less than $1,000 per year for training and equipment, and maybe 5,000 graduation for the graduation education, etc. But anything worse than these elements, I would say no, and I would go to my partner. But I'm not going to tell this to them, because then they will try to meet this exact thing, which I don't want to meet this. I want to do better. Remember, this is what I want to do, my target, and this is the worst that I'm ready to take. Now, what are my sources of power? Anything that will give me leverage in the discussion that I can use to persuade the other party. I can use, hey, I have another offer. Your biggest source of power is your partner. My 5 years of work experience in the field, my proven high quality work results that they're aware of. I can bring some of my portfolio. I can bring certain, I can offer them recommendations from the other companies that I worked for. I can talk about my niche skills that's not widely available on an average candidate. I can say, hey, I have an award-winning design, which I won in California's Best Designers in 2018, etc. And I can even, prepare some checks about what is the national average for this job title, how much people are earning, how much people like me are earning, people who have a little bit of experience in the field, some good improved. So I'm not a beginner level employee. So I can even say, hey, research shows this is the range that people pay, and given my tenure and my experience and expertise in the field, this is approximately where I should be. That's the fair thing to do, etc. But you list anything that you can use to your benefit in the negotiation. You want to list it here. You want to keep it in your mind to use it. So basically, I put everything together. As you can see, this is the first part of my preparation document, my negotiation issues, my BATNA, my alternative, my BATNA, what I aim to get in this negotiation, what is my bottom line that I would say yes to, and what are the things that I'm going to use to my benefit in this negotiation. And then we do the exact same for the other party. Basically, we will list what issues are important to the other party. Remember, you can list the same issues, because if there is a common set of things that you think you're gonna talk over, you can list the same issues, but the importance, the ranking may differ between you and the other party, because I may think I care a lot about training opportunities, but I don't think they will care tremendously about training opportunities. It's not going to cost them that much. They may be sort of like completely neutral about training, and they may already have a very wide training program that they are covering and they paid for. So it may be very less than important, while it's very important to me. So the rank ordering of these issues may change. Now, what's the opponent's BATNA? What's the other party's BATNA? I'm thinking, if we cannot come to an agreement in this negotiation, what will they do? What is their alternative to hiring me? They can hire another candidate, and I checked the average salary for the position is $80,000, for someone like me. But I'm thinking there will be recruitment costs, there will be orientation costs, and this is a risky investment, because these people have been working with me for the last 9 months, and they know my work, they know I'm reliable, I'm organized. But a new hire, they won't know exactly, are they reliable? Are they procrastinators? So their BATNA, their alternative is pretty much this. Now, what do I think is the worst deal that they would say yes to? What is the worst deal for them? Worst deal for them would be the highest salary they're going to pay, highest monetary support or vacation time, etc., that they would like to give. So I'm thinking that their sort of border that they would not want to pass would be 82,000. I think they would be willing to pay 82 tops per year. Maybe graduate education. I feel like they won't want to, based this. Sometimes students ask me, one, how will I know the other party's reservation point or their target? How will I know these things? Two, why is this important? Why am I just guessing, things? Well, one, these you have to do your research on. Use any information that you can find about the company, about other people who work at the company. You can Google. There is so much information online on Indeed and Glassdoor, etc. There are market reports. There are, people in your network, that you can ask to. So you will learn a lot about them, about what is their goal. And if you don't have any idea, maybe you shouldn't meet with them yet. You need to collect more information. And this is very, very important. If you feel like you can't fill out much of the information about the opponent on the planning document, you're not ready to talk to them yet. If it's an important conflict resolution issue, don't get into the meeting till you collect more data, information, tips, etc. This will work tremendously to your benefit because you will plan much better knowing more about their expectations, their priorities. You will plan much better. You can prepare certain offers to them. You can say, hey, I feel like you care a lot about this. I can offer you this if you can offer me this. Or you can prepare different packages. Hey, if you pay me this much salary, I can do this, training or vacation time. But if you pay me more, then I can cut from other places. So you can prepare much better to talk to them. Also, if you don't know what they're trying to achieve, what are the important things to them, how are you going to resolve a conflict to begin with? Like, think like you are fighting with me, I'm your friend, we are fighting, but you don't understand me. Like, why am I being upset when you said something? What is that thing that I keep telling you over and over and over again? You're like, why are you so obsessed with this? You told me 8 times. If you have no clue whatsoever, it is very hard to meet and actually resolve our problems. You need to have some clues at least. And if you don't know, that's perfectly all right. What you're going to do basically is to get into the meeting and say, okay, this is what happened. This is what happened. I know you're sensitive about this. You told me before, so I'm being very careful about that. But I'm not clear about certain things, such as what is with this that's really disturbed you? Why were you so angry when I said this? But the more information you have, the better options of making an offer to the other party, making certain concessions, giving them certain things, but at the same time, how are you gonna ask for the things that are important to you while you're giving away some of the things to them? So the more information you know about the other party's interests, ideas, approach, why they want to pay less or more, what is their range, what is their culture, approximately what do they seem to offer to employees. The more you know about these things, the better your chances of securing your target in the negotiation, because you'll be better prepared. So I'm thinking the worst offer, the highest offer that they would give me would be this. And then I'm thinking, what do I think is their target? I would think they are trying to, pay me a particular annual salary without necessarily promising anything about promotions or promising anything about graduate education or trainings. Just, hey, let's make a deal about the salary and move on. I feel like, that's something they would want to do. Now, third part of the planning document, I'm thinking, what is the situation at hand? Is this a one-shot negotiation or a long-term relationship? Because in a one-shot negotiation, I can be more aggressive, more competitive. In a long-term relationship, I need to come across as more collaborative and tactful. I need to also show how much I care about the other party. I need to elaborate more about how much I love the organization. I want to make myself more likable. Is this a necessity or an opportunity? If you are getting into a meeting out of necessity, you're desperate, right? But here, I'm not desperate. This is only an opportunity because I can be on the job market for another 6 months. I've been looking for a job for the last like 9 months, a year. But I'm not in a rush. I have some savings, etc. I'm looking for a really good job offer. So that makes me also powerful in the negotiation, which I'm going to talk about. Is this a discussion, just an exchange or a negotiation, or a dispute where it can end up in the court, right? So the way I talk, the way I use facts or information will be different if it's just a regular exchange or a dispute situation where what you say may be very critical, it may be listed, it may be recorded and used against you. Do I need a lawyer to be with me, etc. This is just a regular negotiation situation, so I don't have to mind about legal issues involved. Is this discussion or negotiation linked to other negotiations or events? Remember, certain negotiations, for instance, if you make a deal with this company, they can say, if we make a deal, we will provide you with the contacts of our, network companies, like with our sister companies, so you can actually talk to them to 5 different companies. So sometimes I may make a concession in a particular negotiation because if I make a deal with this company, they will give me the contact information and open up business communication lines with these 5 very big companies that I'm interested in selling to as well. So sometimes if there are connected events, you need to use that to your benefit in the negotiation, or you need to, negotiate accordingly. Well, for me, I feel like there's no linkage from their part. Like there isn't something they can offer me. So, hey, if you work with us, we're gonna, there's nothing that I can think of, but I can tell them, if you hire me, I can bring some clients and new projects to the company. I have some great ideas, some projects that I've been working on. We can start them here, right? So basically, I'm saying I'm not going to only come as me, but I will also create certain connections. So again, I will use this linkage to my benefit in the negotiation. Are there legal issues involved that I need to be aware of? Again, do I need a ratification from someone? Why is ratification important? Because in certain events, you are meeting with this person, but they're only a representative of their side. If this is just a representative without the authority to actually put a wet signature on your deal, then you need to understand that just convincing this party is not sufficient, but you need to actually convince the actual people back at their company who are going to ratify this particular deal. So convincing the representative sometimes is not sufficient. It will go to their boss, their president, the club president, or the church leader, whatever. So you need to make sure that you are thinking not only about this particular individual when you're preparing, but about the ratifying parties, the ratifying bodies. What are their targets? What do they more care about? You will prepare to actually send a message to them as opposed to this particular individual. Here, there's no ratification issue involved. Is there any time pressure, time cost of this? If there's a time pressure, you have to get this done as quickly as possible, because every day that you're not signing the deal, you're losing money, or you're losing something. That will make you desperate, so you will be ready. You will actually plan out certain concessions to make so that the deal gets done today. But here in this situation, I have only a little bit of time pressure, not much. I can still wait for another 6 months. So I'm not extremely desperate, although I would obviously, I would like to get the job if it's a good one. You can think about, based on the situation, where should we negotiate? If the other party is trying to pull you to their location where they're really powerful, you feel like this is a dispute, there are power differences, I don't recommend you to go to their places to the extent possible. You want to meet at a third-party location, like a library study room or some sort of a clubhouse, meeting room, etc. Or you can even try to invite them over to your place, your conference room, where you are the owner, you are more comfortable. Okay, these things may be important in certain situations, not here. Obviously, I'm just gonna go to them or meet them somewhere, based on how small the company is. We'll see. Is there a power difference between you and the other party? Again, it may imply, if there's a huge power difference, they are very powerful, and you are not, maybe you should go improve your botnet more. If there's a huge power difference, or you feel like, I'll get into this meeting, but they're so powerful, they can use a lot of things to their benefit, while I don't have a lot of things that gives me leverage, then you need to delay the meeting as much as you can while you're collecting information, doing more research, preparing more, just improving your alternatives. If you can identify different alternatives, and if you can find a better alternative in the meantime, that's great. Let me give you an example. Sometimes if I really want to work for this organization that I really like, I can go engage in multiple different interviews and secure 2-3 different job offers, not because I want to work there, just to improve my BOTNA, my alternative job offers, to negotiate with this particular company. I want to work with them, but I want them to see that I'm also powerful so that they can pay me more, give me more issues. Or think about if I'm on the housing market, I want to, negotiate and purchase this house. But if I go, it's the seller's market, I'm not powerful. But if I go identify some other houses that I can, comfortably sort of buy, although they're not my favorites, at least I can get in there and say, there are other, alternatives out there. There are two other, houses that I'm looking at that will also give me some leverage. So it's important to think about power difference and strategize against this. So I'm hoping that this was sort of clear. Okay, I already verbally went over this. So I'm hoping that this is clear in the sense how my own side's assessment, the other side's assessment, and the assessment of situation gives me a lot of valuable input and sources of power to use in this negotiation. What I'm going to do in the discussion, your assigned task is to read a case, prepare for a meeting, and fill out a planning document. I am posting my sample conflict planning, filled out planning document from these slides into the Canvas module. Read the new scenario, prepare a new planning document using the blank planning document, and then answer the discussion questions in your discussion post. And remember to post responses to 2 other students' posts as well. I'll see you in our next module.